Diversity disaster as massive plagiarism scandal explodes at MIT. This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from the Washington Free Beacon, MIT hired 6 new diversity deans. 2 of them are serial plagiarists, according to a complaint. And from the Daily Mail, 2 DEI deans hired by MIT in the wake of 2020 racial reckoning are serial plagiarists who passed off huge chunks of other academics' work as their own. MIT is actually an excellent school. Some really brilliant people go there, just not these 2. Now, what is MIT doing hiring diversity deans, and what do diversity deans actually do? No, that's not a derogatory term. It's not supposed to be anyway. A diversity dean, or dean of equity and inclusion, is responsible for supporting and promoting a campus culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it may include supporting marginalized student populations, advocating for institutional change, strengthening belonging. How do I hold you accountable for strengthening belonging? Do I ask people, are you strengthening their belonging? I don't even know how you can have that as a job responsibility. Cultivating community building that centers marginalized identities and narratives. Okay, well, that's enough of that. It's a lot of nonsense, which is why you don't really need qualified people. But when people apply for an important position, a dean of anything, if you're really a dean of something at a college, you do need to have some credentials. And that's what these 2 got caught lying about. But also, why are they being targeted? Why just these 2? Is this something racial or something like that? Well, I don't know. But we have this article in Salon, dating back to January 13th, 2024, where Bill Ackman got a little bit disappointed with MIT. From Salon, really personal. Billionaire targets MIT after Harvard plagiarism crusade backfires on his wife. Bill Ackman went after Claudine Gay. He didn't start it, but he helped finish it. She was out as president at Harvard. And then his wife was attacked, who was also accused of plagiarism. He didn't like that, so he decided, okay, I'll target MIT. That was January. This is May. Is it related? We don't know. But messing with billionaires and their family members was probably a mistake. According to a recently filed complaint, 2 DEI deans hired by MIT in 2021, in the wake of George Floyd and a wider racial reckoning across the country, and especially at institutions of higher learning, plagiarized significant portions of their dissertations. A report by the Washington Free Beacon details the extent of the alleged serial plagiarism committed by Tracie Jones-Barrett and Alana Anderson, 2 women who were hired with a handful of other deans of diversity, equity, and inclusion by the Boston institution in June 2021. A 71-page complaint made its way to the university, which points out the plethora of pages, passages, and ideas that each woman allegedly stole from fellow academics for their respective dissertations. For all of these diversity deans pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and racial justice, and whatever it is that they're doing, they are sitting ducks. People are coming after them now. All of this was pushed way too far. And attacking Bill Ackman's wife? Are you insane? You're going to attack a billionaire's wife who's not afraid to stand up for himself, who doesn't really need to do much more in his life. He's made billions of dollars. He has tremendous power, influence, resources, and a relationship with his wife. You could have gone after him, but you go after his wife. What do you think is going to happen? He's got to deal with his wife, like, for the rest of his life anyway. So he's going to defend her. He's going to, at the very least, embarrass these people. It's going to ruin their careers, but of course they deserve it because they cheated. That's not that these 2 cheaters went after Bill Ackman's wife, but they may as well have. They're part of a movement to push an agenda, and they don't care who they hurt. When the response comes, they better be ready for it. Here it is. Anderson, who is currently working as the Inclusion and Belonging Program Manager for Boston Beer Company, formerly served as the MIT Computer Science College's Assistant Dean of DEI. Prior to that post, she held a similar position at Boston University. In 2017, she received her PhD from Boston College upon the completion of her dissertation, #Black on Campus, a critical examination of racial and gender performances of Black college women on social media. According to the complaint and the Free Beacon's reporting of it, Anderson allegedly copied more than a full page of the work of Mark Che, a Pillar College counseling professor who did not earn an official citation in her thesis. Che told the Free Beacon he might have liked to receive a citation in Anderson's work, given her apparent comfort using his. Quote, Anderson seems quite comfortable in taking credit for large portions of another writer's scholarly work, he told the outlet via email. Anderson additionally appears to have stolen words from Harvard Graduate School of Education professor Jarvis Givens, which, according to the Beacon, seems to violate MIT's explicit rule regarding plagiarism. Zabarian further claims that even parts of Anderson's acknowledgement section appear to be plagiarized, with the original insertion of several typos of her own. So anything she's going to write is going to have typos in it. That's how this happens. It's not the first time, and I've done a number of these videos where if they don't copy the work, it's stupid work. It's got silly typos in it that just shows like, okay, it's glaring. Even sometimes when they copy other people's work, they copy other people's citations just word for word, straight copy paste. It's like no one's checking their work. Anderson allegedly lifted uncredited passages from several other authors, all of which are highlighted in the complaint that was submitted to MIT, Boston College, and Northeastern University, where Jones-Barrett received her doctorate of education. None of the academic institutions issued a statement upon being contacted for comment. Not surprised, they don't have a lot to say. Jones-Barrett received her doctorate in higher education last spring after submitting her dissertation, Cita Sista, How Black Women at Ivy League Graduate Schools of Education Make Meaning of Thriving. I'd like to see you make meaning of that title. I don't even really follow that title. Maybe it's because I'm not a diversity dean or I never got a doctorate in higher education. That's actually a very important accomplishment to get a doctorate in education. EDD stands for Doctor of Education, a professional degree that focuses on educational leadership skills. It's the highest level of education you can achieve in your field of study. So she accomplished that, but it looks like she cheated her way to it. In the scholarly work she allegedly stole, ironically, a whole section on ethical considerations from one of her classmates at Northeastern. Emmett Weiss III, who in 2020 submitted the thesis Boys in the Hoods, defining the narratives of black male doctorate degree completers, had paragraphs of his dissertation allegedly lifted by Jones-Barrett, who used his words without any sort of citation in her bibliography. More than 10 pages of lifted, uncited content appeared in the DEI dean's thesis, plus a large handful of paragraphs and sentences peppered across their pages, according to the complaint. The accusations against Anderson and Jones-Barrett arrived some 6 months after now ousted Harvard University President Claudine Gay was accused of plagiarizing portions of her academic work. Librarian points out that after Gay's ousting, Jones-Barrett and Anderson are the last additions to a growing list of names of DEI officers at universities across the country who've been accused of plagiarism and other forms of academic dishonesty. Hardly any institutions where the accused academics work and practice have announced disciplinary measures against the alleged cheats. But some schools, including MIT, seem to be backing off of their near-religious commitment to DEI principles. Earlier this month, MIT announced it would no longer be asking for diversity statements as a requirement from faculty candidates. The elite math and science-focused institution has also led the charge to reinstitute mandatory standardized test score submissions from applicants. Because MIT and other elite institutions realized, hey, if we just let literally anybody into this institution, just to give everyone a chance for diversity, we're actually going to be blocking people who are smart and belong at this institution who might actually be diverse anyway. Merit doesn't mean you have to exclude people based on their skin color. Merit just means you bring people in who will actually benefit from the situation, not literally just anyone off the street. While Anderson, who also runs her own science-based DEI consultation organization, no longer works for MIT, Jones-Barrett currently serves as the school's Deputy Institute Community and Equity Officer. Last week, MIT announced that requests for a statement on diversity will no longer be part of applications for any faculty positions at MIT, noting the decision had been made by President Sally Kornbluth with the support of the academic deans as well as the provost and the chancellor. Quote, my goals are to tap into the full scope of human talent, to bring the very best to MIT, and to make sure they thrive once they're here. We can build an inclusive environment in many ways, but compelled statements impinge on freedom of expression and they don't work. Forcing diversity statements from people who are involved in the school, whether they are applying to college or they work at the college, was always a ridiculous idea. It was also completely crazy to get rid of standardized testing. You can't just have anyone come into the school. They were relying on high school records, but you can't make that like the sole determining factor plus skin color of whether or not you're going to let people into your school. You do need some standardized testing. That said, the SATs are also being dumbed down in a lot of ways because now there's a digital version where if you take the first section and you don't do well, they make the rest easier for you. I know it's crazy, but that's the world today. But at least they have some standardized test. But diversity deans have to be held to some sort of a standard as well. Maybe they need standardized testing before they allow diversity deans in. It's great to see these two caught, and maybe people will start to learn a lesson. If you go after a billionaire's wife, he's coming after you. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.